Everybody. We are live here on TSC Talks Weekly Update. My name's Jill Woodworth and I am your host. This is the Source Cannabinoids, and today I'm just going to run through the podcast because we have a special guest who is on standby right now, Chris Chambers. He is the head of VetMeds Matter, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in a minute, but I just want to tell you who's playing on the podcast. We have Kiara Juster. She's a social justice advocate and attorney. She's the head of government affairs at Oaksterdam University and legal advisor for Last Prisoner Project. She was matched with Richard DeLisi, the longest serving nonviolent cannabis offender since 1988. He's supposed to be released in 2022. However, he's older, in poor health, and she is working on his behalf to hopefully get him out earlier. So freericharddelisi.com. Kiara Juster, we talked about more than that on the podcast, but I wanted to highlight that. Before that was Sarah Hope. She is a microdose coach and psychedelic teacher. Her business is Forest Medicine Coaching. We talk a little bit about just what microdosing is, taking a subperceptual dose of plant entheogens or LSD. Cannabis, it's good for mental health issues, PTSD, depression. And recently, in the election that we just had, Oregon is the first state to allow psychedelics to be used in therapy. And that went through at 55% of the voters. So that is positive motion. I also want to mention that voters legalized possession of marijuana by adults in Arizona, Montana, New Jersey, and South Dakota. So that is pretty much all I have. And I am going to say, welcome to you, Chris. I'm so excited to have you on here. I wanted to, Chris came on the podcast. He's a Purple Heart Vietnam vet, and he shared his very moving and heart-wrenching and inspirational story with us back a few months ago. So Chris, just give me a little bit of background on, VetMeds Matter and your history, just, in a few minutes.
Okay. Back in 2008, the VA had actually overdosed me with heparin, which caused what they call HIT, which is heparin-induced thrombosis. So I bruised very, very easily. After they did that, I was on 1,050 pills every month. I stopped them all, cold turkeyed them, ended up back in a hospital. They wanted to give me more drugs. I said, no, cannabis is my world. So they've now got me documented as being a cannabis user with the Veterans Affairs hospitals. All the psychiatrists, all the neurosurgeons, they all know that cannabis is the #1 leading drug as far as it showed proof to them that it actually mended and regrew bone marrow in my neck. And they were really astonished how that happened. I was constantly using cannabis. I put whole cannabis leaves on my food. I eat and drink cannabis daily, basically. I smoke it. I use tinctures. I'll dab it, but I use it on a daily basis, and it cured me. It actually cured me. I mean, I was able to obtain my driver's license because I'm not considered a U.S. citizen. So therefore, the VA had full power of taking my driver's license away for 18 years.
Holy mackerel.
I was on their medications. Well, I had to go through all these departments to prove I can drive. And I've been driving like crazy. I got my driver's license back from it. It was a hassle. It took 4.5 months through VA policies. But what I decided to do was we started a new mission. It's called Mission Gone Fishing. I'm getting the cooperation of the VA mental health department that the suicidal patients in the spinal cord department and the mental health department, as far as PTSD is concerned, it can be cured, but never really cured because it's alwa's going to remain a memory.
Sure.
But cannabis allows me to function fully without these suicidal thoughts. So Mission Gone Fishing is to take these mental health patients, put them out on a fishing boat, and then at the end of the year, we've got a 5-story yacht that we can fit 250 of the veterans for a getaway party. This is our plan. Now, it does take a lot of money, for this to go. So I'm in cooperation and a partner as the co-executive producer with U.S. Weed Channel, Shane Duell. And I just got back from there doing another broadcast, basically, of how we're going to be able to help these veterans by having a psychologist aboard the boat with our film crew, and we're going to have them just spill their guts out. What's bothering you? Why do you want to commit suicide? You know,
Wow.
I've had
just going to hash it out right there on the boat.
And I've already had myself 7 suicidal attempts. Documented. Because I start feeling this remorse of loneliness, lost in this world, and nobody wants you, you know. So I figured, well, it's time to go. But I failed every fucking time. Excuse the language, but I've actually failed, and there's a reason and a purpose why I failed. Is to keep on going and giving back to the veterans. So in 2008, which is 12 years ago, I've been pharmaceutically free. I take 1 pill, and that's a heart and stroke medication, and that's it. They told me to take baby aspirins, and I said, no, thins up my blood. I bruise really easy then. And they said, yeah, we agree. I go, so I'll just take your 1 heart and stroke medication, and that's all I take. And it helps me out.
That's cool.
I just got back from San Diego. I was up in Redding. I go out and I visit basically wheelchaired patients that are housebound, and I just want to show them a little compassion and caring that there is somebody out here in this world. You're not forgotten, okay? Nobody's, you know, we never give up. That's what a soldier's motto is. Don't ever give up. And we don't want to see other people giving up on their life. So this is a way to show them, these veterans who want to think of committing suicide, the numbers have gone up. It used to be 22 a day. Now it's at 27.
Wow.
With active duty, it was at 30, and now it's at 42 a day. Okay? These numbers have got to stop.
Yep.
And this is what my mission is all about, mission gone fishing. We got to bring those numbers
Mission gone
down.
fishing. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to stop you for 1 second and introduce Chris Nichols here, who just joined the broadcast. Chris, this is Chris Chambers. You haven't met him in virtual land, but Chris is the person that keeps us all going and on some kind of trajectory in forward movement on the podcast, Chris Chambers. So yeah, and we've talked a little bit about, you know, I've shared with them your work here, and I don't know, I found your story just to be so compelling, what you've been through, and like just saying 7 times suicide attempts, and here you are trying to, you know, help others because you can relate in such a deep way. So thank you for sharing that. Chris Nichols, do you have any questions, or do you have anything you want to mention to ask Chris? Not to put you on the spot or anything, you know.
No, you're not putting you on the spot. No, it's just that we got to save these veterans. I mean, and also active duty. You know, what's really ridiculous is that's really hurting is out of that 42 active duty, there are 30 females.
Wow.
That are committing suicides. And, you know, they're enlisted members. They join for a reason, and then for some reason or another, they get this ideological idea that they now have served the country. They come home and they find nothing, and it's time to end. Mm-hmm. No, it's not time to end. It's a time to start. It's a start of moving forward in life. And you know, don't look at the past. I'm an ex-combat soldier. You know, I've got plenty of kills on my belt from being in combat. And I lived a life of remorse for so many years. And it took me 40 years just to get the Veterans Affairs to accept who I was. They said I never existed. And I finally had to pull up proof and everything else from the Department of Defense. Yes, I do exist. I even had one of our governors send a letter in And they said, no, you need to talk to Jay Spalding. He says, you don't even exist. You were never in the military. Your Social Security doesn't come up. Of course not. Had a service number.
Yep.
So there was a big 40 years of lapse that I went through. And so I know how the veterans feel when they're neglected, rejected, and denied. Because I went through so many denials that was pathetic. Now I'm 100% disabled from my PTSD and my personality and my mood disorder. They won't get me on medical. I've gone through I have 42 medical issues, gone through 21 major surgeries, 7 minor surgeries, and yet they say you're 0% medical. Well, I know that's a lie.
Wow.
But I got my 100% mentally.
So you
and I
managed
didn't
this
want to go
with cannabis.
because it makes you look like a nut, 5150. But I'm not 5150.
I mean,
This is what they want to do. They want to give these veterans opiates, constant opiates.
Yeah.
Make them logistic. Let them stay in home. Let them stay in bed. Do absolutely nothing. We control you. And I'm seeing that on a daily basis of how they control our lives.
Wow.
They can stop our lives.
I think, in some ways I can relate on a very different level, but just being owned by having to manage kids that have a condition that is really dependent on, a lot of pharmaceuticals and, a lot of supports that are either government run or costly, and really feeling trapped in some ways and not many options. So in that way, I can relate the teeniest bit. I'm not, no comparison, but I just, my heart goes out to you. And we're doing this virtual market that I also wanted to talk about. And we're hoping to have a day during our virtual market where we can give a percentage of what the sales that we have to your mission, your Mission Gone Fishing. So, I can't, I don't know how that'll go, but we want to highlight what you're doing. So Chris Nichols, do you have anything to add?
Well, I was thinking that, during the holidays, especially for a lot of people, it's a really great time, but for a lot of other people, it's a depressing time. And one of the aspects we want to have of the market is we want to do sort of live shows during it. There's a way we can sort of set up tickets and have people arrive. So there may also be something we can do within the show to contact more veterans and to give kind of an activity, some kind of a connection with other people. And I think especially in these COVID days, if you're already isolated between masks and where you can go and can't go, and you can no longer go to the old bar you used to go to, a lot of people are really feeling disconnected. So maybe we can talk up a way of connecting to some of the people that are involved in your own project and just get them talking, get them online, get them connected, give them something to see coming up the next day to do.
Yep. And Chris, thanks, Chris. Yeah. How do you get through the day when you're, down and out? We're almost out of the 15 minutes, and feel free to keep talking, but I just wanted to give you the 1-minute warning and let you wrap this up, Chris Chambers, with words of wisdom.
I spoke.
Yeah, that helps you. That's your plant ally.
That's my medication. Yes, it's my medication.
Yeah, and it's pretty incredible that you've been able to go off of that many pharmaceuticals and manage, these complicated conditions and have some of them resolve. I think it's just incredible, and should be, there's so many out there, veterans and active, I can't say about active duty, but that really could be, their lives could be improved. So I give you.
Well, see, that's where a lot of people are misunderstanding is our active duty. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, when you come up with 30 females committing suicide in 1 month out of the 42, that's only 12 men. but 30 females are committing suicide on a daily basis of active duty. They feel so neglected when they come back, and they're still active. So they jump off bridges, they jump in front of trains and buses, and those numbers have got to stop.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't even have words for that. It's like,
and that's why we're doing Mission Gone Fishing. But like I try to tell people, it's going to cost us a lot of money to provide the fishing boats, the yachts. We have them in 5 states now. We have a company in Florida, a company in New York. We have a company in Kansas City, Missouri,
wow.
San Francisco, and San Diego that are willing to donate the fishing boats, not the big yacht, for the big party. And we're willing to pay for that. But what our idea is to ship in all these veterans from different places of the country and just allow them to go fishing and dump those problems in the ocean and come back with a peer support, a community support of compassion and caring. We don't care if they're on cannabis, or we don't care if they're on medication. Dump them. Just get rid of these problems that that's occurring. When the numbers jump from 22 a day to 27 a day of veterans, it's like, holy cow, what about all these organizations that are 22 a day organizations? It's jumped. Those organizations don't exist no more.
Wow.
Because of the numbers. And I see it that they have to come down. They have to come all the way down. Basically, I'd like to see 0 and 0.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're making strides, and I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this. And I want to continue the conversation, Chris. So we will make a time to get you on and do a regular podcast and contribute to our content if you'd like for our virtual market, and talk up your Mission Gone Fishing. Now, where can we find you? I think my live is still going, but where can
you can find us at www.uswechannel.com/fishing without the G.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, Chris.
We're going to fish in, and that's the reason without the G. Everybody goes fishing. We're going to go fish you, and then you're going to come inward to us, basically. So fish in. And then when you come out, you're going to be stress-free, compassion, and the caring comes in after that.
You're going to blast them with love. Well,
yes, a lot of love, a lot of fun for them. They're not forgotten. Put it that way.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thanks for all you're doing, and thanks for being on this weekly update. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and we will see you next week. And Chris, we'll be in touch. Over and out.
Okay. You take care, Joe.
Thanks, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.